First and foremost, I want to thank the President who gave me this mandate to see that I oversee the schools, especially the schools that are under universal free education at primary and secondary level. Ugandans will remember that in 1997, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda introduced universal primary education. And when the President came into power, of course, through his intelligence systems, he discovered that many Ugandans were not accessing education. In fact, in 1986, 1990, 92, very few children were going to school. Statistics show us that it was only 2.5 million younger Ugandans who were going to school. And so the President introduced universal free education. This education, I have told masses that His Excellency the President did not introduce universal free education for the rich. Universal free education was introduced for the vulnerable poor. So the President wanted all Ugandans to access education. And that's why there was that introduction of universal free education. And His Excellency started by primary level. In 2007, the first beneficiary of universal primary education is when that beneficiary was entering secondary. And so in 2007, again, His Excellency the President rolled out this program to secondary, thereby us having universal secondary education. Today, as I speak, we are having over 10 million younger Ugandans going to school. And this is because of this mass-line program of His Excellency the President. I want us to know that His Excellency, through the Ministry of Education and Sports, provides support in terms of infrastructure, building classrooms, pit latrines, laboratories, libraries. That's what I mean by infrastructure. His Excellency provides support in terms of providing human resource. The human resource in teaching, we have the teachers. We have some other non-teaching staff who support the education system. And all these, His Excellency the President ensures that they are well remunerated. In fact, this financial year, His Excellency the President has fulfilled the pledge that he has been making to teachers that will increase salary. People who remember the President first increased the salary for science teachers, and now the salaries for arts and primary teachers have been enhanced. His Excellency the President also ensures that every quarter schools are supported with financial support in terms of capitation grant. Every school, primary, secondary, receives money from government. And when we talk about the schools, Ugandans need to know that in Uganda we have over 12,551 primary schools that are under universal primary education. And so education has to be accessed free of charge. And secondary schools, we have about 1,621 schools. And of course, government is still continuing with providing CD secondary schools in sub-counties that have no government-aided secondary schools. But when the president was moving around during PDM tours and even campaigns, when he could say, I am offering free education, the masses were responding in the negative. And so it caused a lot of questions to His Excellency the President. And this is the reason why actually I was appointed to take care of this unit of education in the State House. So I want to tell Ugandans that His Excellency did not wake up one morning and just told Ugandans that go to school, and he has not provided the logistical support for this program. In fact, Ugandans should know that universal free education is one of the flagship programs that, as the NRM government is proud of, and President Museveni is proud of. And that's why I have said universal free education is President Museveni's legacy. Because Nambiro, who is talking to the nation, is a product of universal primary education, is a product of universal secondary education. So there is no legacy that the president can write which is bigger than, I am just one person, but many millions have benefited from this program. Our education system is guided by instruments. We call them legal frameworks. One, we had the government white paper. Of course, people who have had interactions with the government white paper, they know what the government white paper states about some of these services that are supported, because education is a service. But also we have an act of parliament that was enacted by the parliament in the year of 2008. And so we have the law of the Education Act of 2008. This law guides on how education as a whole has to be handled. And it also guides on how the implementation of universal free education at all levels has to be handled. So, we have had challenges for many years. It is now about 20-something years from the time when His Excellency the President introduced universal free education. And over time, there are things which have been going on which are not really right. The law states that in the implementation of this program, there should not be any barrier that deters younger Ugandans from accessing the universal free education. The intentions of the president, and we want really to appreciate him, were to lift the levels of Ugandans in numeracy and literacy. And today we have levels of numeracy and literacy improved very greatly. About 85% of Ugandans are now able to write, they are able to read. And when they are able to write and read, this translates into many things. People are able to do business. People are able to care about their health, because if a person who does not know how to read goes to the hospital and maybe there is a prescription which has been given, such a person cannot know what to do. But that's a problem that His Excellency the President has solved along the way. The many Ugandans who are accessing this free universal education have been facing hurdles. The school head teachers the school PTA and the boards, the school management committees, connive and begin introducing fees in a free program, introducing other illegal charges. You will hear about development fees, you will hear about fees, school fees charged in a free universal school. And so His Excellency was like, this must stop. So you see that we have a law which does not allow any school head, any PTA, any school management, any board member to levy a cost, but they have been going ahead and doing the same. So we have said as the education desk of the State House that this has to stop. Why? Because we have the law in place. And number two, we have the presidential directives. The president has issued several directives from time to time saying no charges in universal free education program at all levels, but it has been happening. So as the education desk, we say this must stop. We have brought on board what we could call partners. We call them partners, but also government agencies that we are collaborating with to ensure that this vice ends. We are working with the anti-corruption unit. We are working with the Ministry of Education. We are working with the Office of the President. And really, I am going to emphasize on the Office of the President how crucial and how important it is in the fight against these illegal charges in schools. The education desk of the State House, we have the mandate to supervise, we have the mandate to monitor, we have the mandate to unearth all of the irregularities in schools, specifically the schools that are under Universal Free Education Program. Through the support of General Isoke, the education desk of the State House has been allocated officers in the anti-corruption unit who are now specifically in charge of issues to do with school matters. And this has simplified my work because time and again you could go to the field, get a headmaster, an errant headmaster, you hand him over to police. Before you reach Kampala, you hear this headmaster has been given a police bond, which is a constitutional right. But from getting the police bond, what follows next is not really very good and healthy. So that's why we are now collaborating with the anti-corruption unit, because everybody should know that the anti-corruption unit of the State House has the mandate to arrest, has the mandate to investigate, has the mandate to prosecute. And so the head teachers, because they are the accounting officers of all schools, who are got in this habit, the State House Education Desk directly hands them over to the anti-corruption unit for investigations. I have been on every media telling Ugandans that His Excellency the President, through the Ministry of Education and Sports, pays for registration fees for every candidate who is going to do P7, who is going to do O level, that's senior 4, who is going to do A level, that's senior 6. The president pays for registration fees of UNEB final exams. But what has been happening for the 20 years before Nambiro was appointed is that there has been silence. And parents, the poor parents, have been forced to pay for registration fees. Why? Because the head teachers have been using the ignorance of the parents to charge them. So what is required from a parent is just to present your son, your daughter, give the rightful names, and also choices of schools. In fact, I want to appreciate the director of UNEB, Mr. Dan Odong, because many years he has been writing circulars indicating that yes, children under universal free education program are catered for the national exams. But what the head teachers were doing, they could hide those circulars and they don't show them to parents. So not until I had to put him on real, I can say put him on notice, because I was everywhere saying, come out. And so on the 29th of May, UNEB came out to clarify to the country how much is even required from, even the parents who are in private schools need to know that they have been cheated enough. Of course, we have seen the ministers of local government visiting schools. And as a State House Education Desk, we appreciate those partnerships. Because before, I would appear as if I am a loner voice. But now we are many. RDCs are now waking up. In fact, we have told RDCs why. And even the minister for the presidency, she is really very up to this task. The State House Education Desk has devised mechanisms of reaching people. We already have how people can reach us, the masses. We created a line, a telephone line for the masses to reach us. And every platform that we are on, we are reading this number and people call and people send messages. We want to really give hope to the communities that had lost hope that the universal free education program is not free. We want to tell you that it is free, and the president, even in the manifesto of this Kisanja, he committed to look for more resources to continue having universal free education program supported. Any head teacher, any school administrator found charging illegal fees that I have talked about, any school head teacher found in the act of sending children out of school because of these illegal fees that are levied will definitely face the arm of the law.